Hello makers, this is Nara from KnitLeaks, and I hope you are doing well and staying safe. Recently I had the opportunity to visit Torino in Italy, and I wanted to share my wonderful experience with you. Torino is a city that has so much to offer. You won't be disappointed, from stunning architecture to rich history to delicious food. During my one-day trip, I included several must-see locations on my itinerary, and I was blown away by everything this city had to offer. If you are planning to trip to Torino, Italy, you will take advantage of the chance to stroll down Via Roma, one of the most famous streets in the city. This bustling thoroughfare is home of a wide range of shops, restaurants, cafes, and numerous historic buildings and modern structures that will impress visitors of all ages. Another must-see site along Via Roma is the Piazza Castello, a beautiful public square surrounded by historic buildings and monuments. Here, visitors can take in the stunning architecture of the Royal Palace, which was once the seat of the House of Savoy, and the nearby Palazzo Madama, which now houses the Museum of Ancient Art. The square is also home to several fountains, sculptures, and other public artworks that will delight you. In addition to these iconic sites, Via Roma is home to numerous historic arcades which line both sides of the street and provide shelter from the sun and rain. These arcades are home to many shops and other businesses, many of which have been operated for generations. Whether you are looking for a delicious cup of coffee, cappuccino, a unique souvenir to take back home, or just a quiet place to relax and knit, the Via Roma arcades are sure to offer something. Visiting Via Roma is a must-do experience for anyone traveling to Torino. With its stunning architecture, rich history, and vibrant culture, this iconic street will leave a lasting impression on all of you. In addition to visiting these fantastic attractions, I went to mYak's headquarters in Candia Canavese, where we met the team and saw all the yarns they produce. As always, we were warmly welcomed and had a great time. It was amazing to see the process behind the production of their fibers, and it accurately represented the amount of hard work and dedication that goes into display of these high-quality yarns. While there, I interviewed my friend Paula Pereira, and I'm sure you will love what she told us. Hey makers, this is Nara from KnitLeaks. We are here today in mYak Tibetan Fibers headquarters in Candia Canavese, Italy, with the one and only Paula Pereira. And we are here for a very special reason, is because Paula is running European tour for launching her first book by Line Publishers, and of course we had to visit mYak headquarters because they were one of the yarn supporters for one garment Paula knit for the book, and we are talking about it during this interview. Paula will explain to us a little bit about the book and about the specific sweater that she made with mYak fibers. So Paula, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Could you please present yourself, talk a little bit about your knitting background?
Yes, absolutely. I consider myself a recent knitter because I learned to knit about 12 years ago. I was living in another country. I'm from Brazil, but I was living in another country with a very specific purpose to, become a yoga teacher. So I was doing my studies for my background. Then I saw this beautiful yarn shop, and we all know what we feel when we enter to a yarn shop or a place where we can have all these beauties. It's impossible to not be attracted. And then I, decided to ask a person to teach me. I went there for classes, and of course, knitting became a hobby, an exciting one. And then I don't know, I took a chance, to work with knitting as a new profession and as a new career, let's put it this way. And I had, as many courses as I could about fitting, because this is something that I love to do, about construction, which is another passion of mine. And in about 2015, I started to show off my work more broadly, a more internationally way. Then I started to work with amazing publications, and I have been working with them a lot. I learned a lot. I'm still learning. This is something that I love to do, and it's something very live in my life. So this is what I have been doing. And now, after 2 years of an amazing work with amazing people, we are launching my very first book, called Texture Knits in English, and we have the Portuguese version, Tricô and Texturas, which is my language. And I'm super proud and happy that Lane, invite us to have the book in Portuguese. And everything, after 2 years, like I was saying, everything became reality. So now I'm here with my friends and, at this beautiful space from mYak that are amazing people, amazing friends that support my work to the book. So we are traveling and having a book tour, which is quite amazing.
Great, Paula. Thank you. So I would ask you about the specific garment you need with mYak fibers, with a very special yarn. And this is beautiful. And let's talk about it a little bit.
Okay. This book, when, this started to become a reality, I suddenly realized that I have, everything was in my mind about the concept, about textures and colors. More specifically, my focus on cool fabrics that we can make with textures. And I remember that I met Paula from mYak in 2019, an event very briefly, so it was packed of people. 2 years after that, I remember that I made a garment with a technique that I love, which is embroider as knit. And I remember that she made a sample with mYak yarns, and that touched me deeply. And at the same time, I have a memory of when I was young, coming back home, and a very fragrant flower that I grabbed from the floor. Those images that we have from life that, is always good to remember. So with all this, in my mind, in my head, I decided to create a garment that, for me is something that I like to do for mYak, and something that I like to reflect that feeling that I had when I was walking home and picking up those flowers. So this is Manacá, a sweater from the book. Textured Knits. It's a highly textured yoke with flowers, as you can see, and it's a technique that I like to call embroider as knit, because it's a very fun technique. So we are not going to embroider the garments when we finish. So we are knitting and we are creating those petals of the flowers, very textured stitch using a crochet hook. So for me, it's also fun to mix two different techniques, because we mix crochet and knitting, and I think this is something that I really love. And in Texture Knits, the book, we have lots of garments where we mix different techniques, let's put it this way. So for this sweater, I work with two neutral colors. So it is a circular yoke sweater. I don't know if you guys can see. So we work in very tiny stripes, and the darker color, in this case, I use to make the flowers. And for this particular garment, I choose Tibetan clouds. I remember when I was at this event at mYak in New York, when I touch this yarn and I feel the softness, I remember that I bought a skein and I wind there, so I feel the cake. Guys, what I'm talking about, right? So when we touch a yarn, it's impossible not, feel something. So I asked them to help me to support this design, and I use those two colors, which I love. Is White Daisy, this neutral, is like a creamy color, and Cladonia, which is a very light gray that I love. Because of the color palette of the book, I thought those two would be wonderful. But of course, that seeing all those colors here, I totally imagine myself doing something, doing another manaka with, different colors. I don't know. I'm like a kid on a toy store because all those colors are really beautiful. And then, the garment manaka is made with this yarn with a very special wool from mYak. I love the result. I love this technique, and we are about to go to Wool Crossing, which is store in Torino, where we are going to I'm going to demonstrate to this technique, and I hope that people have fun.
This is from Candia Canavese. We are going to Torino in a while, and then I'll show you what are the colors that mYak teams with Federica and Paula have chosen, and then you will check out. Finally, I attended a knit event at Wool Crossing, a lovely yarn shop owned by an incredible woman named Federica. The in-person event was part of Paula's European tour to promote her book Texture Knits by Lane Publishers. The event included a workshop on embroidery as you knit, a book signing, and a trunk show, which discussed the techniques used in the garments of the book. The attendees were very interested and happy to learn something they loved in their community. Federica provided delicious food and drinks, and at the end we organized a fashion show which was super fun. Overall, my trip to Torino was an unforgettable experience that I will always cherish. This city exceeded my expectation, from the stunning architecture to the delicious food and the fantastic people I met. I can't wait to go back and explore what this incredible city offers more. Well, that's all for today's episode. If you enjoy it, we would be grateful if you could give us a like and subscribe to our channel. Remember to turn on notifications so you can see all our future content. And if you are on Instagram and Spotify, give us a follow there too. Thanks so much for your support. We super appreciate it. We can't wait to see you next week, and we hope that you are excited to hear more about our upcoming adventures and events.